or 10-minute lecture on a topic. When I was taught how to teach English, I was told TTT, no TTT, keep your TTT down, teacher talking time. But actually, I am one of the biggest sources of comprehensible input for my students. And I am one of the main sources of their language acquisition. When I know my audience, I can directly talk to them, make eye contact, slow down, simplify my language. And I discovered that without asking students to take notes, as soon as I made it a kind of a lecture with a PowerPoint, the majority of students were automatically taking notes. And I then started to do something called a reaction paper, which is where students write about their reaction to talks. And I will explain that a bit more later. The other thing I really like is the mini speech. And I do these with the students, and I will just explain, but I also get the students to do mini speeches. The mini speech is where 4 people sit together, one person researches a topic and delivers a mini speech to the other 3 who take notes, and then the speaker is responsible for leading off a discussion. They prepare discussion questions. Now when I do it, I just choose 3 students, we sit down together, and the other students sit all around stand around in a circle and watch. Very simple. Again, I've got a handout on my webpage which explains how to do this. It gives speaker strategies, listener strategies, and then I give an example of population changes in the UK. And for homework, each student researches a different country. So they write their country on the board. I take in a map. Every student researches the population of a different country in the world and then share it in groups of 4. Super simple activity, but often the simplest activities are most effective. Readings, I'll talk about 4 things with readings. So these are the simplified materials I've prepared. So the simplest way is actually another teacher prepared this one. It's an introduction to the Nobel Peace Prize. Students read it for homework, and then there's a content quiz next class. A simple content quiz. What's that done there? The next one is a bit more interactive, the A-B reading. Student A gets, in this case, the Security Council. Student B gets United Nations General Assembly. They read their reading for homework. This is the General Assembly, and then and you can see how it does sort of look like a student essay. And then in class they give a mini speech to their partner, 5-minute mini speech, and take notes and exchange information. Pair dictation, I just mentioned this to you, Tim, yesterday, so I was up at 6 this morning adding it to the PowerPoint. I actually did this on Friday. Apple iTunes sees millionth download. An American teenager, Alex Ostrowski, became part of history yesterday when he downloaded the millionth song from Apple Tunes. That's reading A. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Reading B, an American grandfather, Alex Ostrowski, became part of history when he downloaded the billionth song. Students dictate their articles to each other, and they go, huh, wait a minute, mine says billionth. And then they negotiate and together decide, is it billionth or is it millionth? Is it grandfather? Is it teenager? And it's a really simple, very nice interactive activity, very easy to make, and of course it's great fun for students to do. Bit of advice, there's 8 mistakes on each one. Tell the students how many mistakes they've got to find anybody done this kind of thing? Similar?
Do you know the original name? I think it's called Combining Versions.
Combining versions.
Yeah, I think it is.
Right.
There's some published in a, what's it called? Discussions That Work.
Right.
Penny
Oh, is it?
first
Okay.
wrote it.
Oh, that's in there.
Yeah, I think that's the first place I saw it about 20
okay.
years ago. But very, very good activity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Jigsaw readings. Now we're doing this. We've just finished this with our World Trade Organization and Environment module. Now you'll see that this is actually a monster task. We had 5 teachers working on the readings, and we look at several WTO cases. This one is the tuna dolphin case, and the teacher has to research about the case and write all these readings about the issue. Each student gets reading 1, which is a background, and then the other readings are divided up amongst different students, and they form a group. They read the readings for homework, and then they get a question sheet. And the question sheet has questions related to all the readings, but they can only answer the ones related to their reading. Next class, they form a circle with their other group members, and they have to say, do you have the answer to number 11? Yeah, that was in my reading. And then together they answer, in this case, 50 questions. This is a full 90-minute class. In fact, my students did just finish in 90 minutes. And it's kind of surprising how much they do learn of all the readings from doing this. Okay. Those readings and questions are on the homepage, so if you wanted to do these case studies as part of a content-based global issue course, they are there. They killed me to make them, so please do use them. Content collected by the students. This is the much easier way of doing it. Students get a research sheet like this and a topic. This is human rights in one country. They have to find 3 human rights problems in a country. So say, for example, the Asia group, they divide up the countries. One does Vietnam, one Cambodia, one Philippines. They then research. They go to the Amnesty International page, they find their country, find 3 human rights problems, collect some data. And then in groups, they meet people in their region and they exchange, again, the information that they've collected. They subsequently write an essay about the whole region, human rights problems in the whole region. So they need to collect the information from the other countries to be able to write their essay. This is a simpler way of doing it. This is one of the topics on the BBC News Round, and you'll see these links here. Each link is a very short article. The students get this handout, and each student research, so they divvy them up, 4 students, they read one of the different topics. They then have instructions, and then they have the listening notes. They have, again, give a mini speech in groups to share the information. Okay, I've gone so quickly, I'm sorry for going